Hello everyone, this is Riya Chandok. So in this video we will study the second chapter of class 7th history, and the name of the chapter is New Kings and Kingdoms. So what is there in this chapter? So children, this is going to be one of the very interesting chapter. In this chapter, first of all, we will study about the Rajput period, right? Then we will discuss about the Palas of Bengal. Then we will see the few Turkish invasions, that means the few Turkish rulers who invade into India. Then we will see the kingdoms of Deccan and South India, that which all kingdoms ruled in the areas of Deccan and South India. And then we will see a case study of the Cholas. So let's quickly start the video. Now if we talk about the Rajput period, so first of all, who were Rajputs? Rajputs were mainly Hindus, right? These Rajputs kingdoms mostly established in the west and north side of India, right? These Rajputs, they were very brave warriors, as well as they loved their country and their countrymen, right? Also these Rajput people, they contributed immense to the culture and the politics of India, right? So these Rajputs, they ruled from 8th to 12th century CE. They were the social groups who were based in Rajasthan, the areas of near Rajasthan. Also, their contribution to the politics and culture of India was immense. It was huge. They have contributed a lot to the politics as well as to the culture of India, which we'll study after a while. We'll see that which various dynasties were there, which all rulers were there, and how these rulers have contributed to the politics and the culture of India. So children, these Rajputs, they have contributed a lot to the politics and culture of India. Thus the period during which the Rajputs have ruled came to be known as the Rajput period. That means the period from 8th to 12th century CE, during which the Rajputs have ruled over the land of India. That period came to be known as the Rajput period, right? So now let's discuss about the various dynasties under the Rajput period. So the various dynasties that ruled under the Rajput period are the Gurjar Pratihar, the Chauhans, also known as Chahmanas, the Paramans, right? Also let's have a look at the map of India at the close of 9th century CE. In this map, the areas which are taken over by the different dynasties are being reflected, right? The green color portion which you can see, it reflects the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty, right? After this, the orange color portion, it represents the Rashtrakutas. It represents the areas ruled by the Rashtrakutas. Then in between the green and the orange color portion, there is a small yellow color portion. It reflects the areas which were ruled by the Paramans, right? And if we go to the south side of India, which is being denoted by the purple color, it reflects the dynasties of the Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, right? So now let's look let's know more about each of these dynasties, that is Gurjar Pratihar, Chahmanas, Chauhans or the Paramans. So first of all, let's know about the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty under the Rajput period. So who were these Gurjar and Pratihar? First of all, these Gurjar. So these Gurjars were the people who came to India with Huns. Who were Huns? Huns were the warlike tribe from the Central Asia. That means they come with Huns. Huns were the people who used to declare war with one another. So these Gurjars also, they came with the Huns to India. So these Gurjars, they were having various social groups under them. There were various clans under the Gurjars. One of the clan was the Pratihar. Pratihar clan was one of the very powerful clans. And the empire which was established by these Gurjars and Pratihar, they came to be known as the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty. Now, these Gurjar Pratihar, they are considered of Indian origin only. They are considered as Kshatriyas and of the Indian origin only, right? Now, who were the rulers who ruled under these Gurjar Pratihar dynasty? So, the very first ruler of Gurjar Pratihar dynasty was Nagabhat first. So he was the person who established this dynasty. He took control of Ujjain also. After him, after almost a century, Nagabhat second came. Nagabhat second was one of the very famous ruler, he took control of Kannauj. If you know, Kannauj was the imperial city of Harshvardhan, right? So he made Nagabhat II made Kannauj as his imperial city. After Nagabhat II, Bhoj first came. Bhoj first was the grandson of Nagabhat II, right? Bhoj first was one of the very powerful ruler. He extended his empire to greater heights. Under Bhoj first, the empire of the Gurjar Pratihar reached its highest level, right? Bhoj first empire ranges from Himalayas to the river Narmada and from Bengal to the Sindh, right? But after some time, in 1019 CE, the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty collapsed and Mahmud of Ghazni, he took control of the city of Kannauj, and this spelled the end of the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty. So now, the another dynasty under the Rajput period was of Chauhans or Chahmanas. So basically what happened, the powerful kingdoms like the Palas, Gurjar Pratihars and Rashtrakuts, they were in the north and east of India. After they started declining, various vassal kings or the feudal kings came, right? So under Chauhan, the few famous rulers under the Chauhan dynasty was Ajay Raja as well as Prithviraj Chauhan. So first let's know about Ajay Raja. So this Ajay Raja, he was one of the very famous ruler under the Chauhans or the Chahmanas. He extended his empire to the greater heights. He extended his empire from Haryana to Ajmer, from Jaipur in east to Jodhpur in west, right? So this Ajay Raja, he was basically a Gurjar only, right? He basically belonged to the Gurjar Pratihar dynasty only. But he broke up from that dynasty and then he established his own dynasty, which came to be known as the Chauhan or Chahmanas, right? He also made his capital as at Ajmer, also known as Ajay Meru, right? Then after him, another very famous ruler under the Chauhans or the Chahmanas is Prithviraj Chauhan. You must have heard about his name many times. Various movies, various series are also made on his victory, on his battles, right? So basically, who was Prithviraj Chauhan? Prithviraj Chauhan was a ruler under the Chauhan dynasty during the Rajput period. His life is being immortalized by the poet Chandra Bardai, right? There was a poet named Chandra Bardai. He wrote a beautiful poetry on the life of Prithviraj Chauhan, and the name of the poetry was Prithviraj Raso. In this poetry, Chandra Bardai described that how Prithviraj Chauhan loved and abducted the daughter of Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj. That means how Prithviraj Chauhan loved and how he forcefully, without the consent of her daughter or without the consent of the Raja Jayachandra, he took her daughter, right? Also, various battles were fought by Prithviraj Chauhan. So now let's see which all battles were fought by Prithviraj Chauhan. So now, out of the various battles which were fought by Prithviraj Chauhan, the very famous were the two battles of Tirrain, right? First of all, the first battle of Tirrain. So the first battle of Tirrain was fought in 1191 CE. This battle was fought between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan, right? And in this battle, in the first battle of Tirrain, Prithviraj Chauhan won the battle. That means Muhammad Ghori was defeated and the Prithviraj Chauhan won the battle. Immediately the following year, that is in 1192 CE, after just 1 year, there was second battle of Tirrain. It was between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan. Now in this battle, unfortunately, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori won the second battle of Tirrain. It is also assumed that Prithviraj Chauhan would have won the battle if the Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj would have helped him. But Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj was still very angry at the abduction of her daughter, so he did not help Prithviraj Chauhan, and as a result he lost the second battle of Tirrain. You know, the second battle of Tirrain is termed as it is termed as a turning point in the history of India, because in this battle Muhammad Ghori won, right? And Muhammad Ghori was the first Muslim who established the Muslim rule in India. Thus, this battle is said to be the turning point in the history of India, where from the Rajput kings, the throne was gone to some Muslim ruler. Now, another dynasty under the Rajput period was of Paramas, right? So now, these Paramas, they basically ruled near the region of Malwa, right? They ruled from 10th century to 12th century CE near the region of Malwa, right? In the map also we have seen the empire of Paramas, that is in between, the empire was in between the Gurjar Pratihas and as well as in between the Rashtrakutas, right? So they ruled during the period of 10th to 12th century CE. One of their famous ruler was Raja Bhoj. So this ruler is different from the Bhoj first of Gurjar Pratihar dynasty, that is another person, and this Raja Bhoj is another person. So this Raja Bhoj, he was a very good philosopher, he was a prolific writer, he loves to write, he has written many things, right? Also, Raja Bhoj made his capital at Dhar, right? He made his capital at Dhar. Later on, after some time, this region, the region of Malwa, was captured by Alauddin Khalji, the Khalji Sultan, about whom we will study in the next chapter, the Delhi Sultanate. In that chapter, we will study about the Alauddin Khalji. So, after some time, this region of Malwa, which was ruled by the Paramas, that was taken by the Alauddin Khalji, and this spelled the end of the Paramar dynasty as well. Now, we'll see about these Palas of Bengal. So first of all, we'll see who were these Palas. So these Palas were basically the Buddhist people, right? They were the last Indian dynasty to embrace Buddhism, right? They were the followers of Buddhism. They even revived the university at Nalanda with their patronage and with their efforts. Also, they established the monastery and the college at Vikramashila, which was based on the Buddhist teachings only, right? So who were all the rulers under these Palas of Bengal? So basically what happened after the death of King Harshvardhan, in Bengal there was a lot of confusion. In the Bengal there was no king, but after some time King Dharampal came, right? Dharampal was a founder of the Palas dynasty, which is in the Bengal, right? Also Dharampal with his son Devpal, they extended their territory from Bengal, Bihar, and they also captured some parts of Orissa, right? After some time, another little Para king named Mahipal came, right? So this Mahipal, he was also a very good ruler, but after some time Mahipal was defeated by Rajendra Chola of Chola dynasty. We will study about this Rajendra Chola of Chola dynasty later part of this chapter, right? So this Mahipal, who was a king, Mahipal, who was one of the Pala king, he was defeated by Rajendra Chola of Chola dynasty, and with his defeat, the Pala dynasty declined and the Cholas ruled over this part. Now we will look at the various Turkish invasions. So there were various Turkish people, there were various Turks as well as Arabs who invaded India many times by the end of 10th century CE, right? These Turks or the Arabs were the tribes from the Central Asia. They wanted to invade India and capture their wealth as well as to establish their empire in India, right? So how they came into India? They came through the passes in the northwest. So in the Himalayas, in the passes, in the mountains areas of the northwest, there were few low-lying passes. So they came to India with these low-lying passes, right? So one of the very famous invader was Mahmud of Ghazni, right? Mahmud of Ghazni was the son of the very famous, very ambitious Turkish king Sabut king, right? He was under the Ghurid dynasty, right? So Mahmud of Ghazni, he has always heard about the tales of India, right? He has heard many stories about India, that how rich India is, how wealthy India is, how attractive the India is, right? So this Mahmud of Ghazni, he was attracted by India a lot. So one day he decided to invade India, and thus he captured various parts of India. He attacked India many times he attacked India, and he captured the parts of Kangra, Mathura, Kannauj, Thaneshwar, Gwalior, Somnath. Thus, he attacked at one of the very few famous cities, right? Very few and rich cities of India, right? But there was an interesting fact about his attacks. He never wanted to rule over India, right? This Mahmud of Ghazni, though he was attracted by the tales of India, he took with him the vast riches from this land, right? He never wanted to rule over India, right? So what he did, he attacked those cities, he took the wealth along with him to his country, right? After almost 1.5 century came Muhammad Ghori. Yes, Muhammad Ghori. He was the same person who fought the second battle of Terrain with Prithviraj Chauhan, and he won the second battle of he won the second battle with Prithviraj Chauhan in 1192 CE. So this Muhammad Ghori, he was the person who established the Muslim dynasty in India, right? So this Muhammad Ghori, basically he was working under Ghorid dynasty only. Ghorid dynasty, the dynasty to which Ghazni belonged, right? He was basically a person or general of Ghorid dynasty only. But after some time, the Ghaznis, they started weakening up, and then this Muhammad Ghori, he wanted to establish his own dynasty. So about this Muhammad Ghori, he captured Multan, Peshawar and Lahore, right? The reason of his success, or the reason why Muslims started ruling over India and why Rajputs were like thrown out of the throne, was because of the lack of unity amongst the Rajput kings. Due to the lack of unity among the Rajput kings, the various Turks who invaded India at various times, they established their own empire in India. So children, till here we have completed almost half of the chapter, but still half of the chapter is left. That is, we are still to discuss about the kingdoms of Deccan and South India. We are yet to study about the case study of the Cholas. We are yet to study about the King Rajendra Chola and Rajaraja Chola. So if you are interested in watching the second part of the video, please comment under the video. Only if I receive more than 10 comments, then only I will be uploading the second part of the video or the second part of this chapter. Till then children, please keep studying, stay safe, stay healthy, happy learning.